Hi, I'm Emily Flowers with the Divorce Lending Association, and I'm a certified divorce lending professional or CDLP. This is part of our divorce literacy series, and today I'm here with TH and Jessica from the exEXPERTS Divorce Etc. podcast and website, and so on and so forth. And I got to tell you, I am so excited for you guys to be interviewing with me today. And I just can't wait for you guys to tell everybody what you do. So please jump in, tell us a little about yourselves and what you do so that we can give them the goods.
Emily, thank you so much. Everybody
Yeah.
who's listening, Emily is such a rock star. I could just talk to Emily about anything and everything in a day. So we so appreciate you supporting exEXPERTS, Divorce, etc., our newsletter, all of our things. Really, it's
Yes,
just
thank you.
it validates what we're doing. So a quick story is Jessica and I are best friends over 30 years. We actually got each other as part of our divorce settlement from our husbands as they were cheating on us with other women in long-term affairs. We were best friends. We got engaged a month apart, married a month apart, grew up basically together through our 20s and 30s. Our families, our kids, our traveling, all the things looked beautiful on the outside. But the truth is, it was not as beautiful as it looked in the pictures. And 13 years into our marriages, we found out at the same time about our husband's extramarital long-term affairs, traveling with their girlfriends.
As
And
couples, they were covering for each other's affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that and so much more. But you'll have to tune into Divorce, etc. to hear further juicy details.
Definitely. I was just telling TH and Jessica that I read their e-newsletter that they send out every month. And it's educational, but completely entertaining at the same time. And I just appreciate it so much.
We're so glad because honestly, I mean, we've got stories upon stories, many of which are like along the lines of you just cannot make this shit up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also come from a place of like, you got to laugh at life. Some of it is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you can't laugh at it, then like, what are you even doing? So even in a situation as scary and overwhelming as divorce can be, we are sure to always find the humor because we know that there always is a light at the end of the tunnel and everyone will get to a point where we are now 15 years out.
So we went through our divorces and everything together,
Okay.
literally lock and
Day
step.
by
Not
day.
The legal stuff, the emotional side, the can you believe this shit part, the how do we answer our kids' questions part, the how do we date, how do we navigate our lives at this point. And there were very few, if any, resources other than our lawyers and one another.
Right.
So we were kind of surprised that there weren't any other resources out there. I mean, there were resources to help us through every minute of our pregnancies. How could they not have resources out there to help you through your divorce? So many years later, we decided we're going to build it. There's still nothing out there. There's too much noise, too much information, too much risk, identity theft, drones, hacking. People, I mean, I don't even know the half of it. I don't even want to.
It was also like there are so many resources out there. There are so many articles that you can read about how to find the right lawyer or do I need a forensic accountant? But everything is written by someone with an agenda. So that how do I find the right lawyer is written by the lawyers who want you to hire them as their lawyer. And we just felt like there needed to be a vetted, objective place, a platform that people could go to where there is no hidden agenda. And we're just putting the information out there. Most of it's for free for people to be able to get through this process and not feel like they're alone. It's scary and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so, but with our platform and with all the resources that we offer, we hope that people feel educated and empowered and ready to make the right decisions and understand what they have to go through in order to make the process as easy for them and to be able to make the best decisions for them and their families.
It's hard to know who to trust.
Yeah,
Friends,
exactly
family. Right. Do I trust this lawyer? Do I trust what my ex is telling me? Who do I believe? Who don't I believe? And we are your trusted source to educate you so that you can trust yourself. We're just going to give you the tools you need to get the answers that you want so you can make your own outcome. You can make
Right.
your own choices. You have choices. You are smart. You are capable. You are not alone. So we're going to give you the tools to find the right people, to go down the right path, to clean up after mistakes that you're definitely going to make because we've lived it. And so we get it and we built it. And now we have a platform to help you through and
And
just skyrocket.
We do, as you know, Emily, we have a lot of what we call our experts, yourself included. We're not saying to someone, this is who you have to use, but we do have a whole area on our website with a list of all of the experts that we ourselves have spoken to, have vetted and interviewed, and who we feel that we would be comfortable working with if we were to be going through divorce today. And that's the important thing. So we're filled with the types of resources that people need, and with suggestions and recommendations and referrals. We're just not telling you like you have to call this financial advisor and not this financial advisor. Here are 7 financial advisors that we have spoken to across the country that work, everywhere nationwide, and like talk to whoever you want to, but you can hear them through the podcast. You can read about them in the articles on the site, and you can decide, like, are you vibing with them? Is their message jiving with you? And does this feel like someone you'd be comfortable with? We're going in with people that they can't pay to be a part of exEXPERTS.
Right.
We're not a paid directory. So we pride ourselves on that so that we know that our resources are legit and people that we are very comfortable referring.
Well, and in my experience, every single thing that you've said is 1000% true. I happened upon this website during some research on how do I get my name out there and how do I let people know what I do as a CDLP? And I came across experts and, do you want to be one sort of thing? And you're right. The vetting process is real. I went through it and I came out with like 2 girlfriends in the end, is how I felt. I literally can email either one of you and say,
Yep.
hey, what about this, or this? And same,
Yes.
I know that you guys also feel comfortable asking me questions. And so,
That's right.
yes, I do feel like this is a place to go that doesn't have that hidden agenda.
And
There
we feel
isn't.
like for you specifically and all of our other experts, like we understand at the base level what a valuable resource you are and the services that you offer to people and how much people need that. We had not even heard of certified divorce lending professional before. And it's one of those things like, holy shit, if we had known that that existed when we were getting divorced, we 100% would have taken advantage of that. And so that's the kind of thing, like, people don't know what's out there, and we just want to let people know all of the different things that they can be thinking about and considering, because it's so important and it can make crucial differences in the results and the outcomes of their divorce.
Yes, it can. And when to incorporate these people.
Correct.
People think that you can't do anything until after the divorce is over. Not true. Not true at all. Start early. And on the start early section,
yes,
give me, let's say, I have a friend who is going through a divorce and at least she's contemplating it. She hasn't really started that process. Tell me what to do. Tell me where to go. Tell me, educate me.
Yeah. First, direct her to the exEXPERTS website because it's kind of like, ground zero. Like everything that we do exists on the website. You can find links to everything there. Things are broken down into different categories. If it's legal questions, if it's questions about custody, if it's questions about your stuff, if it's questions about financial situations, it's all broken down into categories. It's color coded. It's very easy to use.
Yes.
But really what we think partially based on our own vast experience and also based on the hundreds of interviews that we've done with experts. When we got divorced, our first knee-jerk reactions were, oh my God, we got to get a lawyer. And we know now that that's not really the first step. The first step is to find out, when you go and meet with lawyers, what are the right questions to ask them? What should you be looking for to make sure that you're hiring the right lawyer? You need to educate yourself on, what do you think you want your divorce to look like? It used to be just, Kramer versus Kramer or War of the Roses. It's like you were getting divorced. That meant you were duking it out in court and fighting each other tooth and nail to the end. Now it's like you can mediate. You could have arbitration. You could have a collaborative divorce. You could litigate. You could have other out-of-court options. There actually are a number of different ways to get divorced. Those are the places that we think it's important to start. You need to know what your options are. And you also, we did not know of divorce coaches, and now we hold divorce coaches in very high regard, because we also understand that even before you talk to a lawyer, when you're talking about your situation to a divorce coach, they can also give you ideas and suggestions for the types of professionals you may want to consider to have on your team. You may be having a contentious, high conflict divorce where you need custody experts, or where you need a forensic accountant. Or you may be having a very amicable collaborative divorce and you may not need those types of people on your team. Like, we just feel like the information gathering and the discussions that we have with people in one-on-ones to kind of go through and help people set their own agenda, that's where I would say to start.
Yeah.
I would also, before you even go there, information gathering is critical. Our value proposition to all of you is that with exEXPERTS, you will be educated and supported, so you will feel empowered to make your best choices.
Yeah.
And it's super simple, but I am like your perfect poster child of what not to do. I was, I got a phone call that confirmed what I had been thinking, and I did get my ducks in a row. So the first thing you should do, really the first thing, is get your ducks in a row. I made sure my kids were okay. I called my brother. My parents were in Egypt. It was like perfect. They couldn't get involved. I went on what I needed to do. I reached out to the people who I knew could help me, who were not my closest friends. And I took a minute to let it sink in, because I was really happy, actually. This was a hallelujah moment, and I do recognize May 8th, 2008 as like my New Year's Eve. That is the best first day of the rest of my life ever. But there's a lot of stuff that pulls you down from being, having your big party about it. But take a minute, let it sink in. Where are your kids? Where are you in this moment? Do you have money? Are you going to be okay? Check your safety, check all of that. For everything else, we will, through the website, and then all the different ways we've created to interact with you that work for you. You want to watch YouTube? We're there. You want to sit on TikTok all day? Go for it and watch us and learn from us. You want to be on Instagram? You want Facebook? You want our newsletter? You want our podcast? You want to read stuff? We've literally covered every way to consume information. So you picked your favorite way to consume it. That's not stressful, because there is a lot of information. And then just reach out to us and we will help you navigate. I would say the number one podcast to start with, we did with Scott Orr, and it's called Own Your Outcome.
Okay.
He tells you to take a minute. Where do you want to be, and work backwards.
Okay.
And that'll help you figure out, I need this kind of lawyer, I'm having this kind of divorce, and like all the questions that go with all the things to make a roadmap for yourself. But we will personally help you navigate your way to work through the content and, not be too overwhelmed.
I just want to add one other thing, though, in even taking a step further back. For your friend or
Yeah.
anyone out there who's contemplating divorce or even in the early stages. I mean, it can apply if you're in the later stages if you haven't done it yet, but honestly, like we know for a fact that the two biggest fears for most women when it comes to divorce are money and the kids.
Yeah.
And money is arguably number one. So if you're even thinking about getting divorced, you need to make sure that you have access to every single financial account that you and your spouse have. You need to have every password. You need to know what's in your checking, what's in your savings, what's in your 401k, what's in your investment account. You need to know what you own. You need to know how much your mortgage is. You need to
All right, you're
just
scaring me.
gather. No, I'm not. Just gather the paperwork. You just need to
Yeah.
make sure you have all of those passwords, because if you find yourself in a more contentious situation, it's going to be a lot harder for you to ask your spouse to just give you the passwords and the access to everything.
Yeah.
So you should be logging in and just making sure that you have access or getting that access before the shit hits the fan.
I'd
We'll
say
help
that's
you with
the,
all of
oh,
it. We'll
what?
guide you with all of the things that you need to do and
Yeah,
how to
you
get
will.
together.
Yeah, the number one thing that I think, when I'm doing my part in the divorce process, right, is I'm working with cash flow. That's the scariest part, is cash flow.
Yeah.
And so, I'm lining up your liabilities and your assets and your qualified income and your mortgage and all the things that go with that. And I'm putting this all together for you in a pretty little package. But at the same time, I'm going, hey, this is going to affect your cash flow in some way, shape, or form. How can we make this more palatable for you, right?
Yeah.
And so this is all just awesome information. And yes, I'm going to include all the things, all the links, and the wonderful places where
All
people
the
can reach
connection
you.
points.
And there are so many places. I see you guys all over the place, Instagram and all of the places that you said. So final thoughts, final words.
I think I would just like to say, as I said earlier, divorce can be scary and it's overwhelming and it's hard and it can be dark and you can be really lonely. I actually have been divorced twice, so I really am truly an ex-expert. I just want to say to anybody going through it, no matter how much, like how dark it seems right now and how laborious the process and how tiring and exhausting it all is, there is the other side and you will get there. And part of our mission is to let people know that there is a silver lining. For whatever reason you chose to get divorced, for whatever things weren't working in your marriage, like this is your life and this is your opportunity to be able to do things differently, choose your own new traditions, choose what you want your life to be able to be. And I just think that sometimes it's really hard to kind of get out of the sadness and the grief and the mourning period to be able to even envision that one day you're going to be laughing and smiling and thinking like, oh my God, thank God that I got divorced back then. We always say we are not divorce. We're not encouraging divorce. We don't advocate for divorce,
No.
but it's a way, it's a fact of life. Half of the couples that get
Happens.
married end up being divorced. And
Yeah.
if you find yourself in that position, we can assure you that there is light on the other side and we can help you get there, but just keep the faith. That's what I would say.
I would also say that we really do lead by example. We're not afraid to talk about divorce. We're not afraid to talk about the ugly. We take ownership and accountability for our roles in our marriages that led to our marriages not working. I do not take responsibility, nor does Jessica, for them crossing the line. But my marriage was suffering way before that even happened. And I needed to do the work on myself so that I could be whole for my kids and for me. And then you know what? The universe opens up to you when you do that. It takes work. It does take time. Do not blame yourself. Just take ownership and learn. and you are not alone. You are not alone.
Not
You have
alone.
Jessica and I as big, loud mouths out there saying that divorce sucks, but it doesn't define you. And let's freaking talk about it. It shouldn't be a hush word. It's okay. And you are going to be okay. So between us and Emily, you have amazing resources here. We will help guide you. Emily will support you through the financial parts of it. And trust me, like I used Emily personally for something. She's a freaking rock star and she has patience to educate you. I don't know the world of mortgages. I didn't have to deal with that ever really in my life. I'm a smart person. I know the finances. I don't understand the mortgage world. She will talk you through it and has patience with you and will never make you feel dumb, and neither will we.
Yeah.
There are no bad questions.
No judgment
there are no
zone.
dumb questions. You can ask us anything, any three of us here, and you're going to be okay.
I 1000% agree. And here's a couple of my final thoughts about all of your resources and you too. It doesn't have to be contemplating divorce. It can be before, during, or after divorce.
100%.
I think people forget about the after. Okay, so it's over. You're just supposed to move on. Like a lot of people can't do that and they don't know how to do that. I swear your stuff works for that too. It takes you all the way through, and you guys are so useful for all of that. And the other thing is, we tend to take ourselves pretty seriously. And the one thing I loved about everything that I've seen, read, I'm looking at your website right now, and heard all of that, they are able to laugh at themselves and able to find the practicality in things and just go, what was I thinking? I did this. This isn't what I meant to do, but I did this instead. And we all need to learn from that. And I feel like you guys are the perfect people to just put somebody at ease when it comes to this process if you're going to have to go through it.
Thank you so much. That means so much. And also, like, we had as Sage was saying in the beginning, things may have looked very similar on the outside as we approached our divorces and started the process. We had two very different divorces. Our circumstances in terms of who our husbands were, and so what our divorces looked like, were the complete opposites of each other. So when people come to us, whether it's for private sessions or whether it's listening to the podcast and reading stuff on our site, like, we have two very different perspectives. So just for people to know, it's not like we're both coming from like kumbaya and like everything is, coming up, daisies in the end. Like, we don't always agree on everything. We listen and we respect everything that each other has gone through because it is very different. And those experiences are what educated us and allowed us to be able to build what we've built. But it's not two of the same voice. It's two very different voices.
Right.
As a reader and listener, I attest to that. That's true. Yeah.
But our perspectives are different, but we're all about moving forward.
You are.
Yeah,
that's true. And it's positive.
We've lived longer without our husbands than we have being married to our husbands. At this point, it's like 15 years since we separated. We were married 13. And we still learn and we still make mistakes and we laugh and we cry about it, we bitch about it, and this happened and that happened. But again, own it and you will be whole and you will be okay. I want to end with one last thing. I saw, I forgot who was doing it on Instagram, but like, it's hard to be a mom and you're up all night with your child and they're crying and it's like, I can't do this, but you're doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to go to work and I'm tired and I'm frustrated at work, but you're actually already doing it. And it's hard to move on from divorce or trauma or a breakup or a loss. But guess what? Look at yourself at that moment. You're already doing it.
Agreed.
It is hard, but you can do hard things. So reach out to any of us. We're here to support you. And like I said, we've lived more outside of our marriages now than in them. So we can talk all about the dating and all the other good stuff that comes afterwards.
Which I love. And I just want to thank you guys again for agreeing to do this and for putting yourselves out there, because that's really what this is. And everything that you read and see and hear when you actually do log in and check this all out, you'll see it. So we could not appreciate that more. So thank you again. And I cannot wait for people to see this. So
Thank you so
Thank
much, Emily.
you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
have a great one.